There is a law in life as unshakable as gravity. Nothing great is ever achieved without persistence. Talent alone is not enough. Genius without persistence is wasted brilliance. Dreams without persistence dissolve into regret. It is persistence, the iron will to continue despite failure, despite rejection, despite exhaustion, that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Napoleon Hill said, "Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success." Think of Thomas Edison. History remembers his invention of the light bulb, but not the thousands of failed attempts that came before it. When asked about his failures, Edison famously said, "I did not fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that did not work." That is persistence. That is the refusal to accept defeat as final. Henry Ford faced bankruptcy multiple times before building the Ford Motor Company. Abraham Lincoln lost elections again and again before becoming president. Colonel Sanders, at the age of 65, knocked on more than 1,000 restaurant doors before someone agreed to carry his chicken recipe. What is the lesson? Greatness is never born in comfort. It is forged in rejection, refined in setbacks, tested in storms. Persistence is the anchor when the winds of doubt blow against you. It is the fuel when the fire of motivation runs dry. It is the voice that says, "Try again, one more time." Most people quit not because the goal was impossible, but because the pain of the journey felt unbearable. They stop at the edge of breakthrough. They surrender inches before victory. They give up when persistence could have turned defeat into triumph. Look at the miner digging for gold. He strikes the earth day after day, sweating, bleeding, aching, only to stop digging just 3 feet away from the vein of gold. The one who persists, who digs deeper when others quit, becomes the one who persists, who digs deeper when others quit, becomes the one who reaps the reward. Persistence is not blind stubbornness. It is not banging on a locked door forever. True persistence is intelligent. It learns from failure, adapts strategy, adjusts course, but never abandons the goal. When the road is blocked, persistence does not stop. It finds another path, builds another bridge, carves another tunnel. The river does not stop when it meets a rock. It flows around it. It shapes it. It wears it down until the rock itself is changed. That is the nature of persistence. Every person who has ever built a fortune, every leader who has ever changed history, every artist who has ever left a legacy, each of them persisted beyond the point where the average person quit. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you refused to quit? What dream have you abandoned because the journey felt too long? What vision have you buried because failure whispered lies into your ear? Your breakthrough is not behind you, it is ahead of you. It is waiting for your persistence to unlock it. Do not mistake temporary defeat for permanent failure. Every failure carries the seed of equal or greater success, but only the persistent find that seed. When you face resistance, know this. Resistance is proof that you are moving forward. The universe does not challenge the idle. It challenges the dreamers, the builders, the believers. So persist. Persist when your friends doubt you. Persist when your bank account is empty. Persist when your body aches and your heart breaks. Persist when the results are invisible. Persist when the world says no, because persistence turns no into yes, impossible into inevitable, and someday into today. The ones who win are not always the smartest, not always the strongest, not always the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to quit. Your persistence is your weapon. Wield it. Honor it. Live by it. Because when you persist long enough, the walls of failure crumble, the doors of opportunity open, and destiny itself bows to your will. That is the power of persistence. There comes a moment in every life when hesitation kills the dream. Not lack of talent, not lack of opportunity, not even lack of resources, but hesitation. The endless waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. Napoleon Hill declared, "Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them quickly." Decision is power. To decide means to cut off every other option. To decide is to declare to the universe, "This is the path. This is my choice. This is where I stand." Look at every leader who left a mark on history. They were not always certain. Not always prepared, not always equipped with guarantees. But they were decisive. They acted when others froze. They chose when others doubted. Alexander the Great, barely in his 20s, did not wait for permission to conquer. He decided and then he acted with such ferocity that entire empires collapsed before his will. Steve Jobs, against the advice of many, decided to pursue design and simplicity when the world mocked him for it. That decision gave birth to Apple. Decision ignites momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress builds belief. And belief attracts resources, allies, and opportunities that hesitation could never unlock. But decision alone is not enough. Decision without discipline is like a match without fuel. It sparks but dies before it lights a fire. Discipline is the daily honoring of your decision. It is waking up at the hour you promised yourself. It is working when you do not feel like working. It is saying no to distractions, temptations, and shortcuts. Discipline is freedom. Because when you are disciplined, you are no longer a slave to moods, emotions, or circumstances. You are guided by your commitment, not your convenience. Consider the athlete who rises at 4 a.m. to train, the musician who practices scales until their fingers bleed, the entrepreneur who makes the calls, writes the plans, learns the skills long after the excitement fades. What is the difference between those who succeed and those who drift? Discipline. Many people wait for motivation, but motivation is fleeting, fragile, unpredictable. Discipline does not ask for permission. Discipline does not wait to feel inspired. Discipline does what needs to be done, whether or not the heart feels like it. The disciplined do not gamble their future on moods. They build it brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. Understand this: your decisions shape your destiny, but your discipline protects it. If you decide to change your life, but lack the discipline to follow through, your decision is just a wish. If you decide to achieve greatness, but abandon the discipline when the path becomes difficult, your dream becomes dust. But when decision and discipline unite, miracles unfold. Decision says, I will become wealthy. Discipline says, I will save, I will invest, I will build. Decision says, I will transform my health. Discipline says, I will rise early, I will train, I will eat for strength, not pleasure. Decision says, I will leave a legacy. Discipline says, I will write the book, record the speech, build the company, tell the story. It is this union, decision plus discipline, that carves destiny into stone. You must also understand, indecision is poison. It drains your energy, steals your confidence, robs you of time. Every day you spend thinking about it is a day your dream dies a little more. Make the decision. Commit to it. Then let discipline carry you when emotions fade. The world respects those who act with clarity and consistency. Fortune favors the decisive. Destiny rewards the disciplined. So decide. Decide today who you are, what you stand for, what you are willing to sacrifice for the life you desire. Then discipline yourself so fiercely that no excuse, no distraction, no weakness can pull you away from your path. Your life will not be shaped by luck. It will not be shaped by chance. It will be shaped by your decisions and sustained by your discipline. This is the law. This is the truth. This is the art of acting quickly and staying committed. No one climbs the mountain of success alone. Every great empire, every revolutionary invention, every fortune built on unshakable foundations, behind them stands a network of minds, a circle of influence, a collective power greater than any single individual. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle. The truth is simple. When two or more minds come together in harmony, focused on a definite purpose, they create a third invisible force. An energy, an intelligence, a power that cannot exist in isolation. Think of Thomas Edison. He is remembered as the genius behind the light bulb. Yet Edison himself admitted that much of his success came not from his solitary brilliance, but from the team of innovators, engineers, and thinkers he gathered around him. His invention factory was not just a workplace, it was a mastermind, a congregation of minds aligned toward discovery. Look at Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in history. He once said, "It marks a big step in your development when you come to realize that other people can help you do a better job than you could do alone." His empire was not built by his hands alone, but by the collective brilliance of men he called his mastermind group. Walt Disney did not create a global empire of imagination by himself. He surrounded himself with visionaries, artists, and dreamers who believed in a world that didn't yet exist. His mastermind transformed sketchbooks into kingdoms. Understand this. Isolation limits you. Association expands you. When you walk alone, you see with your own eyes. But when you walk with a mastermind, you see with 100 eyes, hear with 100 ears, think with 100 brains. The company you keep is not neutral. It is either pulling you forward or dragging you down. Every voice around you is either feeding your faith or feeding your fear. Every conversation is either planting seeds of doubt or seeds of greatness. If you surround yourself with complainers, soon you will complain. If you surround yourself with dreamers, soon you will dream. If you surround yourself with disciplined warriors of purpose, soon you too will rise with discipline and purpose. A mastermind is not simply about friendship. It is about alignment. It is about shared vision, mutual accountability, the collision of ideas that create sparks of genius. Think of a single piece of coal removed from the fire. Alone it fades, grows cold, loses its flame. But place it back among the burning coals, and it ignites again, glowing with heat and power. That is what a mastermind does to your spirit. It keeps your fire alive. The great tragedy is that most people never experience this principle. They settle for circles that drain rather than elevate. They mistake proximity for purpose, friendship for growth. But your environment is your destiny. Choose it with intention. Ask yourself, who challenges my thinking? Who expands my vision? Who demands my best? If you cannot answer, then you must seek new company. Because success is not a solo journey, it is a network, a symphony of minds aligned with your mission. A mastermind can take many forms. It can be a small group of peers meeting weekly to sharpen each other's ideas. It can be a mentor guiding your path. It can be a partnership forged in trust. What matters is not the number of people, but the alignment of energy and vision. Even the giants of faith and philosophy had their circles. Jesus had his disciples. Socrates had his students. Every movement that shifted the course of history began with a mastermind of like-minded believers. You must ask yourself, are the people around me multiplying my power or dividing it? Are they adding to my vision or subtracting from it? When you find your mastermind, guard it with everything. Feed it, nurture it, honor it. Because with it, you can achieve what seems impossible. Without it, even the most talented among us will stumble, burn out, or fade into mediocrity. The mastermind principle is the great amplifier of destiny. Your dream is a spark. Your discipline is the fuel. But your mastermind, the right people, the right circle, that is the wind that makes the fire unstoppable. So choose wisely. Build intentionally. Surround yourself with power, and you will become powerful. Surround yourself with vision, and you will become visionary. This is the law of association. This is the mastermind principle. And it will take you further than you could ever go alone. Faith is the foundation of all achievement. Not blind belief, not shallow hope, but the unwavering conviction that what you seek is already yours, waiting in the unseen realm to be claimed by your persistence. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Faith is the starting point of all riches, the basis of all miracles, the only known antidote for failure." He understood a timeless truth. Faith transforms thought into power, and power into reality. History is filled with men and women who clung to faith when the world laughed, doubted, or mocked them. Think of Abraham Lincoln, who faced defeat after defeat, business failures, heartbreak, political rejection, and yet he persisted. His faith in his purpose never broke, and because of that, he rose from obscurity to lead a divided nation through its darkest hour. Thomas Edison failed more than 10,000 times in his pursuit of the light bulb. But each failure was not a defeat. It was faith in action. Edison said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is persistence, born of faith. Faith without persistence is wishful thinking. Persistence without faith is grinding without vision. Together, they form the unstoppable engine of achievement. There will be times when the evidence of success is invisible. You will toil, sacrifice, and bleed, and yet see no reward. This is the place where most give up, because their eyes cannot yet see what their heart must know. But understand this: all great things are first created in the invisible before they manifest in the visible. The seed must remain underground before it breaks through the soil. The blueprint must exist before the building rises. The dream must burn in silence before the world applauds. Faith is the ability to act as if the result is certain, even when the path is hidden. Persistence is the discipline to walk that path every single day, even when progress is invisible. Every person who has achieved greatness has lived by this law. Henry Ford believed, against all odds, that the average family could own an automobile. He persisted through ridicule, through lawsuits, through countless mechanical failures, until faith turned into the Ford Motor Company, and the world was transformed. The Wright brothers had no wealth, no powerful, and persistence. Every time you choose to believe instead of despair, every time you choose to act instead of retreat, you place another chisel against the rock of impossibility. And one day, the mountain crumbles. Do not ask, "How long will it take?" Ask, "How far am I willing to go?" Because the person who persists long enough with faith will always outlast the one who quits too soon. Faith is the vision. Persistence is the march. Together they make destiny inevitable. Life will never move in a straight line. The path to greatness is not a paved road. It is a wilderness, full of storms, detours, and unexpected trials. Those who believe success comes only by rigid plans will break. Those who understand adaptability will bend, adjust, and rise stronger than before. Adaptability is not weakness, it is power. It is the ability to adjust your sails when the winds change, to find another route when the road is blocked, to transform setbacks into stepping stones. Napoleon Hill observed that every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Think about that. Every challenge, every loss, every obstacle you encounter is not the end, but the raw material of your next breakthrough. History proves this truth. When Walt Disney faced bankruptcy and rejection after rejection, he adapted, transforming his failures into lessons, his obstacles into imagination. Out of his setbacks was born a vision so powerful that today, generations live inside the magic he created. When Henry Ford was forced out of his first 2 automobile companies, he could have quit. Instead, he adapted. He refined his approach, redesigned his vision, and eventually built the Ford Motor Company, revolutionizing the world of transportation. Adaptability is seeing opportunity where others see disaster. It is asking, not, "Why did this happen to me?" but "How can this shape me?" It is the courage to evolve when the world changes, and the wisdom to recognize that flexibility is not betrayal of your dream. It is the survival of your dream. Look at nature. The river does not stop when a rock blocks its path. It bends, flows around, finds a new way forward. That is why rivers carve valleys and shape mountains, because they persist and they adapt. Your life will demand the same of you. There will be times when your plans collapse, when people betray you, when opportunities vanish. If you cling rigidly to one way, you will. But if you adapt, if you shift your method while keeping your vision, you will rise. Adaptability is not about lowering your standards. It is about finding new strategies to reach the same destiny. It is the fighter who changes his stance mid-battle to outlast his opponent. It is the inventor who redesigns after failure instead of quitting. It is the dreamer who keeps dreaming, but dares to dream in a different form. Remember, failure is not falling. Failure is refusing to rise again. The storms of life are not punishments, they are teachers. They come to refine you, to stretch you, to prepare you for the destiny that only the adaptable can reach. So when you face adversity, don't resist reality. Don't curse the storm. Instead, ask, how can I bend without breaking? What can I learn here? How can this make me stronger? The oak tree that refuses to be torn apart by the hurricane, but the bamboo which bends and sways survives the storm and stands tall again when the pass. Adaptability is the secret weapon of every successful soul. It transforms defeats into detours. It transforms pain into power. It transforms setbacks into the setup for your next chapter. You cannot control the winds. You cannot control the storms. But you can control your sail, your direction, and your response. And in that choice lies the power to turn obstacles into opportunity and setbacks into strength. Every great destiny has been built on resilience, not on perfection, not on unbroken victories, but on the ability to rise again after every fall. Resilience is the silent strength of the soul. It is the fire that refuses to go out even when the winds howl against it. It is the echo inside you that says, I will not quit. I will not break. I will rise. Think of Abraham Lincoln. He failed in business, lost elections, battled depression, faced defeat after defeat, yet he rose again, and again, until one day he became the President of the United States and changed the course of history. His power was not in avoiding failure, but in overcoming it. Thomas Edison tested thousands of materials for the light bulb, and with each so-called failure, he simply said, I have not failed. I've just found another way that won't work. That is resilience, the refusal to let defeat define you. Resilience is not about ignoring pain. It is about feeling it, accepting it, and still choosing to rise. It is about turning wounds into wisdom, scars into strength. When you fall, and you will fall, you have two choices: to lie on the ground and let life pass you by, or to rise, battered but unbroken, stronger than you were before. Life does not demand perfection. Life demands persistence. It is not about how many times you get knocked down, but how many times you get back up with your vision intact, your faith alive, and your will sharpened. The boxer is not great because he never takes a hit. He is great because he learns to stand back up after every blow. The climber is not great because the mountain is easy. She is great because no matter how many times she slips, she keeps climbing, one step at a time. Resilience is the art of endurance. It is the mindset that says, this is not where my story ends. This is where my comeback begins. Your pain today is the foundation of your power tomorrow. Every setback, every rejection, every heartbreak, if you rise from it, becomes a stone in the fortress of your strength. Resilience transforms victims into victors. It transforms weakness into willpower. It transforms defeat into destiny. Remember, the storm may knock you down, but it cannot keep you down unless you choose to stay there. You were born with resilience in your DNA. Think of how many battles you've already survived to reach this moment. Every difficulty you thought would break you has only made you stronger. Every chapter of pain has prepared you for the next chapter of power. So when life strikes you down, do not say, why me? Instead, declare, try me. Because every time you rise, you prove to the universe, to yourself, and to your destiny that nothing, not failure, not loss, not fear, can stop a soul that refuses to quit. Resilience is the crown of the victorious. Wear it proudly, because the truth is simple. Fall 7 times, rise 8, and in that rising you will discover your unstoppable self.